Hey OG, nice kicks. Keeping it 100 about these kicks I bought. The channel about the kicks and nothing but the kicks. Raw and uncut. Okay, let's do this. Welcome back, OGs, to the next episode of Hey OG, Nice Kicks. In this episode, we're going to talk about these Nike ID Air Force One NBA joints, whatever, depending on where you're from, in the collection. So without further ado, let's get into the NBA Air Force One kicks in the collection. So this is yet another pair of Nike ID sneakers that I put together years ago, maybe 3 or 4 years ago. Sold them online, and these are the Washington Wizard NBA Air Force Ones that I was able to customize and add my own little splice to it. For this customization, I didn't do a whole lot other than put my initials on the side, and I was able to do that, and also do a couple of other add a couple of other design features to this Air Force One. I do like, I mentioned in previous episodes that I do like the fact that Nike has a function where you can actually take some of their sneakers and customize them. Although the options are limited, the customization you can do with those limited options is amazing. So you can really get creative and make the shoes your own. The one thing I like about these sneakers, they came with those red, white, and blue laces, which I thought were hot. And yes, I know you're saying Washington Wizards. Why Washington Wizards? Well, that's my team. I've always supported my team, and I don't really care if the team is winning or losing. But in Washington, hasn't been good for a while, but when they're good, I rock with them, and when they're bad, I still rock with them because that's my team. And the one thing I do like about Air Force Ones, of course, is Air Force Ones are nostalgic. They take me back to the 80s and 90s when I was a teenager. Back then, Air Force Ones were the shoe, because back then people weren't paying the money they're willing to pay now for sneakers. And Air Force Ones, although at the time they were considered expensive, they were, at least in my area, the top. If you had Air Force Ones, hey, you were the man. And so they really take me back. But I do like the fact that they did come out with a NBA themed Air Force One, and it gave me an opportunity to customize these to kind of go with my favorite NBA team. And I have a lot of favorite teams in NBA because really I do fantasy, so I really follow players more than teams. But I am from the bricks. I am from the area that supports the Washington Wizards. Well, yeah, I support them. I'm not exactly from the area, but close enough to where I've been a fan of the Washington Bullets and now Wizards. And at one point they were actually located where I'm from. And I'll have you guys go figure that out on your own. But they were our hometown team before they went to DC. Again, to me, this is a fire shoe in my collection. I do have a lot of Jordans, which I like the Jordan highs, and probably more than the Air Force One, I have to admit that. So I don't wear these as much as I probably would wear. I have so many shoes in my collection, so I wear them as much as I can. I do have gear, Washington Wizards hats and pants and shirts and jackets to go with this and hoodies. So when I do put those on, I do put these puppies on. And again, these are personal. These are personalized. I had a chance to create these on my own, put the colorway together, add the star on the side, had my initials on there. If any of you are familiar with Air Force Ones, they fit like Air Force Ones. They feel like Air Force Ones. I do like to wear my Air Force Ones, kind of like Rasheed Wallace, but I'm going to say I'm a little older than Rasheed Wallace. I probably was doing this before him. He always wore his straps hanging off the back. That's how I wear my Air Force Ones as well. I just think it looks different than just wearing a strap going across the front. So Rasheed Wallace did that back in the day. And like I said, I'm a little older than Rasheed Wallace, so I'm going to say I originated that, but we're not from the same area. We don't know each other. We have nothing in common. I did meet him once in my life. Very nice guy, very humble person. But you know, and I'm not taking credit for this because it's not something that you would take credit for. But when I wear my Air Force Ones, I like to wear the strap hanging off the back. I just think it looks, I just like the way it looks. So yeah, now what I have to say about this shoe, I'm actually going through my collection, and whatever comes to mind when I put them up on the camera and press record, this is what you guys get. So with all that said, I'm going to put these puppies on feet. So please stand by, please stand by, please stand by, please stand by. Okay, so these, this is how these puppies look on feet. You know, and I mentioned Rasheed Wallace earlier. And Rasheed Wallace used to ball in Air Force Ones. And it's amazing because I rarely saw NBA players ball in Air Force Ones. But I'll tell you all a quick story. When I was young, I had a pair, this was in the 80s, maybe in the 90s, maybe mid-90s, let me correct myself, mid-90s. I was a teenager playing ball, outdoor ball, and I used to play ball in my Air Force Ones because that's, you know, the only pair of sneakers I had. Back then, I couldn't afford to have a specialized pair of sneakers for basketball because I wasn't on the team. I mean, I had cleats for football, but no specialized sneakers. So we had the ball in these, and I twisted my ankle really, really bad. Like when we first got up, started playing on the court. And this is early one summer day. You know, all my friends out there, we playing ball. And I just, with the Air Force Ones, I always thought they were a comfortable shoe to play ball in, which again, I'm surprised a lot of players don't play in Air Force Ones or didn't play in Air Force Ones. At least I didn't see them playing in them. But when I played in them, they were the best basketball shoe I ever had, to be honest. One of the most comfortable shoes to play ball in. And like I said, I twisted my ankle really bad. I mean, I twisted it to the point where it was swollen. You know, if you play ball, you get that knot on the side of your ankle. I just tied those suckers tight, strapped them up real tight, and I played for another 4 or 5 hours. Now, I can't say I was out there playing good, but I was able to move around. Because, you know, when I played basketball, I don't consider what I did playing basketball. I'm going to be honest with myself. I was just a guy out there running around, doing whatever, because I like to give people who can really play a certain sport or a game credit. Because so when you're out there participating in the basketball activity, but I don't consider what I was doing based on the skills that I see in the NBA and some other people playing basketball. But again, classic Air Force One shoe. You see the strap hanging off the back. The one thing I can understand is Rasheed Wallace used to play ball in the NBA with the straps hanging. And yeah, I can pull them up tighter, I guess, but man, that's kind of distracting because when you walk, they will fly around. But I was watching some vintage NBA games when Rasheed Wallace was playing for Boston against Kobe, when Kobe got his 5th ring. And Rasheed was running around on the court with his Air Force Ones because he had his own Air Force Ones, which I would love to get a pair of, but I'm not paying the money they want to charge for them. Rasheed Wallace had Air Force Ones as his sneaker, so really fire shoe as well. So with all that said, hope you enjoyed this episode, and thank you for joining me on my journey through my sneaker collection. Peace.